Good evening, everyone. Welcome to AfroCentric page. We are back, and there's been a lot of things going on behind the scenes. We haven't been since COVID started. We have to make some changes. But we are back now. Going forward, you hear from us. Going forward, you hear from us. But today is one of our first events. Today we're going to be talking to Jude from Dreammaker Realty regarding what is going on in real estate market now. We know there's a lot of things going on. So we're going to be talking to him, getting his point of view, getting some insights from him as to what to do. So I'm going to bring Jude in. I'm going to bring Jude in and then we can get started.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, there we go. I'm getting used to these technology things here.
All of us, we have to change the way we do things, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you perfectly now.
Okay, good. So how are you?
I'm wonderful, man. I can't complain.
Good. I know there's a lot of I'm good. Just getting used to everything that is going on now, COVID situation and stuff like that. So had to change things around, working from home most of the time, going to the office, sometimes. So I know you guys have been pretty busy and also things have also changed also. So we wanted to talk to you, and get some insight on what is going on in the market right now. First, before we get started, I read a bit about your background, and you have been investing since the age of 23 in real estate, and fully licensed for about 13 years. So how did you get started? Where did your passion come from?
Honestly, it all started in university. I met one guy, Gary. He was running this one of these triangular type companies, sales companies, and he wanted me to join. And we started talking about financial wealth, and he suggested that there are three ways to make money. One is self-employed. You start your own company. One is through the equity market, which is like the stock market and such. And the other one was through real estate. At the time I was really young and I was doing full-time school. I was going to York and I was going to Seneca at the same time. So, starting my own business was not something I'll have the time for. And the stock market, as you know, is very volatile. You have to have the heart for it. I didn't have the heart for it at the time. So I said, you know what, let me do real estate. So I started researching about real estate. And luckily, a good friend of mine, you probably know him, Isaac Oluwalofe.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the CEO of Dreammaker Court. So I've known him since grade 5. We were both working at UPS at the time. We bumped into each other again. And we said, okay, it's time. Let's do this. And he had his license. So we just started going.
Okay, good. So how long you been licensed? And I know you work with Dreammaker Realty. How's it been going? How's your journey been like?
It's been amazing. It's been amazing because, I think we got lucky. We really got lucky. When it comes to investing, timing is everything, right? And we got in right before Toronto became Toronto.
Okay.
Right. We got in around 08, 09.
Okay.
That's when we really started ramping up investing and buying pre-construction and going downtown Toronto. So we got in right before Toronto took off. We got in when we were buying condos for $124,000. Yeah, we were buying downtown studios for about $130,000. So we were good. We were good from then.
Good. So how's the market now? Been hearing a lot of stories, hearing on the news that the market is good. When the COVID thing started, people were saying the market, it's gonna go down, but recently reading that the market is doing pretty well. How's the market now? What's happening?
The market is wonderful. The market is doing really, really good. There was a 60-day pause. So when COVID hit, so around February, The whole world was on pause, right? And nobody knew where this was going. So even for my own investors, our own investors, what we told them was, just pause for a minute, because this has never happened before. Not in my lifetime, not in your lifetime,
Yes.
and not in most, older investors' lifetime either. There's been recessions in the US, there's been recessions in Canada, there's been recessions in different parts of the world, but there's never been a moment where the whole entire world had to pause.
Yes.
So we had that when that took place, everybody pretty much just said, what, let's wait for a while, let's see what happens next before we take next steps. So there was that 60-day gap where everything was kind of slow. Even some buildings weren't allowing people to do showings. Some landlords or tenants also didn't want anybody coming through their doors with possibly being infected by COVID. Everybody was on the edge. So I think after around May, mid-May, people just started getting more comfortable again, and the investors started coming back out. People who were on the sidelines started coming back out, and things just went right back to where it started.
Good.
Yeah.
So what is different now? Like pre-COVID and post-COVID now, like how is it like if a seller comes to you that they want to sell their house, like how different compared to pre-COVID? Like the whole process of selling.
For us, nothing's really changed, but I can tell you what's happened to the market itself. When it comes to listing a property, we pay really, really good attention to detail, because we're in 2020, and whether you're in 2019 is the same thing. The first place people see a property is online, right? So for us, whenever we list a property, we pay attention to our listings. They're very detailed. If we have to take time to stage the property, we stage the property. We always pay for a professional photographer, even if it's a lease, because nowadays the first thing you will see is pictures of a property before you even see the property itself.
Yeah.
Right. You're sold online before you see it in person. So I think most agents are now waking up to the fact that they need to put a bit more work into the presentation of their listings. So, and also virtual tours are becoming a huge, huge thing. People want to feel like they can walk through a property without being there.
Okay.
So that way also helps them save time. If there's 30 properties you really wanted to see, but because now you can do a 3D tour, now you probably come down to 15 of them.
Okay.
So the ones that weren't, the listings that did not have such detailed and professional pictures and 3D tours, they may not get them the same amount of attention. So that's the one thing I'm noticing about listings right now, is a bit more attention to detail, a bit more attention to photography, a bit more attention to the videos.
So if you're taking a client to walk through your home, like what safety precautions you guys take, or let's say somebody's listing a house, like what safety measures you guys take for somebody coming through the house and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, nowadays it's kind of annoying for us because, we're literally going to properties with a full mask on, looking like like an exterminator. No, my team has gone to properties where we literally have to wear gloves in order to come in, or you can't go in. You have to sign a consent form showing that you've never been anywhere else, you're not coughing, possibly have any COVID signs. So like you get a medical checkup before you see a property. But everybody's just taking precautions to make sure that they're safe. And I understand that, but it's a little different from what we used to do.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I mean, so for a buyer now, what are buyers doing now? What are they thinking?
Well, it depends what type of buyer you are, though. So, there's the investor client, there's the end user client. The investor client they're the hunters. They're always looking. They're myself, they're Isaac, they are the team. We're always looking for deals. They're international buyers as well. So those people, that crowd, they are always on. Whether COVID has hit, if they take a pause, they go back looking. Which areas are changing? Where should I be? So those clients are still very active, and those clients are mainly online now. So they're looking at the pictures, they're checking the 3D tours, they're checking the locations. And nowadays, there's a lot of stats you can find online as well before you even see a property. So those clients are there. Then you have the end user clients. So the end user clients are the people who are more of emotional buyers.
Okay.
So they're buying for themselves. They want to make sure that the backyard is good. They want to make sure that the schools are proper. They want to make sure that, it has the nice kitchen colors that they like.
Yeah.
Those two clients, they're different. Those are two different type of clients that we're having now. The end user client, they still want to go see the property. They will wear the mask with you. They'll go into the property. They'll take the 1 hour walk through. They'll walk outside and walk back in. So we get those ones. And then the end user client, the investor clients, we're buying on paper, pre-construction. If the numbers make sense, we're getting below market value. They buy no matter what. Okay.
So why do you think the market is so heated right now?
It's very simple. The problem with Toronto is that, and it's not a problem for the investor or those who bought earlier, but the issue for most people in Toronto is that there's not enough inventory. That's the issue. And it's just like anything else. Real estate is a product, just like a pen, just like a book, just like anything else. When there's not enough of it, the prices will go up. Right? And when you look at the immigration of the city, if you look at just people migrating from, let's say, Montreal into Toronto, Ottawa into Toronto, Halifax into Toronto, you can see the population of Toronto is increasing. And then you add immigration outside of Canada coming into the city as well. There's a demand. People need shelter, right? And as in the GTA, I don't find that they're building as many properties as they need in order to accommodate the demand. And because of that, the prices just continue to go higher. Right? And the market has never, I can't say never, but there hasn't been a point where the market is flooded with a lot of properties where there's so many to choose from. Right now, you can find that in the rental market, but when it comes to buy and resale, that's not there yet. You're still going to get this heated moments here and there until there's more inventory. People are going to pay more.
So who are the buyers now? Is it primarily Canadians or foreign buyers?
It's both. I think people believe that there's so many foreign buyers who are taking these properties from them, and that's not the case. No, that's not the case. You will have foreign buyers who will come in and they'll buy a lot of properties, that's for sure. But when you compare as a whole to the entire market, I believe there's way more buyers in Canada than the foreign buyers themselves. But the buyers are everyone. For us, we deal with a lot of first-time home buyers. They're coming out now. People who are buying their second properties because they bought one before, they did very, very well, and now they're going to go ahead and sell and buy another property to start a family, things like that. So we're finding those people. We're finding first-time home buyers, being assisted with the bank of mom and dad.
Okay.
Yeah, because, well, think about it. If you graduate at the age of 23, 24, it's very hard to save a lot of money in order to buy a property, especially when the studio downtown is going for almost $500,000, right? So we're finding that a lot of parents who took action from before, they also have a lot of equity in their property, $500,000 or so. They refinance, they pull out $100,000, they give it to their child, and they buy their child a property because they also understand the value of real estate. So the type of buyers we're finding right now.
Now, so I'll just follow up along that line. I know, here in particular, it's so heated right now that you hear reports, even the suburbs, places like Durham region, for example, like Paris, Ontario. Those places, it's also getting so heated now. Why is it so? Why are people now looking away from the core GTA?
Well, it's price, right? It's price. You have two options. So let's say, for example, we just did a deal for a client of ours. She bought a duplex that's a semi with a finished basement in Brampton, right? She paid $810,000 for that property. Okay. Right. And when you go downtown Toronto, that's a two bedroom condo. Right. So, right. So people don't, and I'd say people don't have a choice, but when it comes to people's income in ratio to the price of these properties, people don't have much of a choice at this point. If you want to start a family, if you want a backyard, if you want room for your kids, you want to have 2-3 children, it's going to be very, very hard for you to buy in Toronto unless you're a high net worth individual, right? Chances are you're going to go outside, and most people will end up going outside.
Hmm.
So as more people start going outside to buy more properties outside, once again, the
Mm-hmm.
demand increases, the price increases,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at, remember Brampton back in the days? Brampton
Yeah.
used to sell houses for like $400,000.
Yeah. I mean, Brampton
Yeah,
was a get to go place for about maybe for 8, 9 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that. Now look,
Yeah.
people in Brampton are now going to Shelburne.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, right. And
Wow.
now Shelburne, if you look at detaches over there, they're going for about $600,000.
Mm-hmm.
So now people also now slowly have to start going further out as well.
Hmm. Okay. So go on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so these things are going to continue to happen as Toronto maintains its price. As things get more expensive in the city, people have no choice but to go outside in order to own something.
Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about this COVID times. We know, when the shutdown happens in March,
Hmm.
people, some people obviously got laid off from work. Immigration, like, I mean, when you're talking, you mentioned about the immigration, people coming
Yeah.
in, so
Hmm.
the demand up, right? Now
Hmm.
people are not coming anymore because it has stopped, right? Because of the COVID.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
if at international students now, I read a report that they're telling them not to come this year,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
the border is not open, right? Um,
Hmm.
and then also like jobs. Some
Hmm.
people got laid off. Some people have been recalled back. Nobody
Yeah.
knows how are these people that are left. Are they going to be called back as well? I mean, some people are going to lose jobs, right?
Hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's not going to be like how it was before COVID. Now,
Yeah.
because I read a report whereby CMHV said that they predicted that home values were going to go down like 80%.
Hmm.
Now they came back and requalified that and said that, well, if you look at places like maybe Calgary, you look at places like, then that's what that 18% is going to happen. But if you look at places like Vancouver, Toronto, maybe the
Hmm.
9% decrease and stuff like that.
What percentage did they say?
They said about 9% decrease.
9%. Okay.
9%. And they said like places like Calgary, Nova Scotia, like 18%, right?
Hmm.
They gave these reasons. Immigration is going to be low,
Yeah.
unemployment high. So, and then
Hmm.
also obviously the mortgage deferral. People, when
Hmm.
economy was shut down, I mean, able to defer a mortgage up to 6 months, right? So they're saying that, well, in September, when all these deferral ends, there's going to be that mortgage cliff, right?
Hmm.
Where people are not able to afford their mortgages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What do you think about that prediction? I mean, it hasn't gone the way that they predicted it, right? Where
Exactly. You know what? Here's what I got to say about that. Because if there's one thing I've noticed about the Canadian government or CMHC or any of these people,
yeah,
who's saying something negative about the housing market? Have you noticed that?
yeah, yeah,
Either they're trying to make it difficult for you to buy property, either they're increasing your pre-qualified interest rate,
mm-hmm,
either they're increasing the deposit required, either they're capping you about the something's always happening with these people,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm,
So, and every time they predict something or every time they say something bad is going to happen, it doesn't happen. And they've been doing this for 12 years,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying that the market is bulletproof.
Okay,
What I'm saying is that we need to really assess what's happening here because I can use myself for example here.
okay,
You know, I own a few properties and I deferred all my mortgages,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Not necessarily because I needed to, but because I was being precautious.
okay,
I wanted to make sure that in the event that something does happen, I don't necessarily have to come up with that money.
money,
And I can tell you that there's not a lot of people, or there are a lot of people who did the same thing, right?
yeah,
There also are people who needed to push those mortgages, right? So what I've been suggesting to some of my cautious clients is that, let's wait until November, October,
okay,
because around that period, we will really know what the truth is. Are
mm,
people deferring their mortgages because they had an opportunity to make cash flow in their rental properties?
mm-hmm,
Are
mm-hmm.
people deferring it because they really did lose their job and they have no choice? And around that period, we will find out exactly what's happened because people have deferred. But
Mm-hmm.
why did they defer? We don't know that yet. They haven't given us a reason for that yet.
Yes,
It's
yes.
a very hard bet. It's a very hard bet.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the things that they were saying was the SERB, that, the SERB eventually has to end. I mean, they were
Yeah.
saying it was going to end like in August, but I know this week,
Mhm.
Trudeau came out and said that, what, all the people on SERB, like the contractors and people who haven't able to be recalled back to work or who are not working, they're going
Yeah.
to phase them into the EI, right? So
Mhm.
that prediction of the SERB ending is not going to come, right? Because now people are going to be pushed to EI, whereby they're going to get that 35 weeks, whatever
Yeah.
benefit. So it's
Yeah.
gonna push that out. So and then
Mhm.
so another argument that he came up with, since I know he said that you pretty much invest in condos, one of
Mhm.
the reasons also they gave was that Airbnb, right? That a lot of
Mhm.
rentals, like people are not coming, so the short term rent
Mhm.
going to be sold down, so the owners are going to be forced to list their properties. Now, I know
Yeah.
condo market is not doing. How's the condo market? Anyway? Let me ask you that.
It's doing fine. Listen, the condo market is doing fine. Yeah, I haven't had any, or we haven't had any real issues with sales.
Mm,
When we get together, we don't have anybody who's mentioned difficulties with sales. I think when it comes to listing a property, it really comes down to how realistic you are,
okay.
right? Um, if you're listing a property at the right price, it will sell. As long as there's somebody looking to buy that property, it will sell.
Mm,
Condos are selling. I remember right before COVID, I liquidated one of my properties downtown, the studio, and I
mm-hmm.
sold it for $442,000, I believe.
Okay.
Somebody just sold the exact same property for the exact same price, 440,
Oh.
right? And they weren't on the market for more than 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
So that's why I keep having a hard time understanding where people are coming from when they say that things are going to tank, things are going to tank. And once again, like I said, I don't think the market is bulletproof. No market is bulletproof.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just listen to the surface. I want to dig a bit deeper. Understand, are people deferring for the right reasons? Are they deferring just to buy time?
Mm-hmm.
From my collection of some people I know, they defer to buy time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the condo market, yeah, Airbnb is no longer in existence.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and a lot of those units came on the market. So what you will notice is if you look at the rental market, there's a lot of vacancies for rent, or a lot of properties for rent, more
Mm-hmm.
than before. And
Mm-hmm.
what that's doing is allowing people who are on the sidelines, because if you look at pre-COVID, there's a huge uproar about how there's nothing to rent in Toronto.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? We're going to be homeless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All a bunch of advocacy groups, Airbnb, all these people were happening crying about rental. So that means there's a pent up demand,
Mm.
right? So now with all these inventory now on the market, these people are going to go ahead. People are on the sideline. People are having difficulties. People who couldn't rent at a specific price point, they're all now going to go ahead and look for properties to rent,
Mm.
which
Mm.
makes sense. Those who
Yeah.
already rented renegotiate their rental prices, which
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't want to predict that
Mm-hmm.
the market is bulletproof, but I want to see what happens around November, December,
Okay.
January, February of next year to really, really see and really, really confirm where we are going. But
Okay.
for now, both markets are doing very, 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 very well.
Okay.
There are multiple offers right
Yeah, I know. I mean, I read quite this week that like in Durham region, like a property,
now.
they listed about 5 properties. They all received,
Yeah,
received 6 offers.
yeah,
One received 15 offers in
yeah,
region. That's crazy, Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Just
So then how does that happen? And then you're going to tell me, oh, come on, chill, chill, chill.
yeah. So I mean, you have a lot of experience in buying pre-construction, whether it's
Yeah.
a house or whether it's a condo. What is your advice now, like for somebody looking, let's say, for pre-construction, whether it be an investor, let's say, okay, let's deal with somebody, end user, somebody who's going to be living in this whatever, a house or a condo. They're buying
Yeah.
now. I won't close maybe a year and a half from now. With all this
Yeah.
going on, like, what would you say?
Well, when I buy pre-construction, I always pay attention to the exact same thing. It's a very simple process. Am I buying below market value?
Okay.
And is this a property I'm going to be holding for a longer period of time?
Okay.
Okay. And the reason I look for those things is because I like to know that when I'm signing for pre-construction, that I'm making money already,
Okay.
right? And also in the event that the market does pull back, I want to know that I have enough room if I have to exit.
Okay.
So, for example, when I bought my studio condo downtown, I paid $200,000 for that property.
Okay.
At the time, this was 4 years ago. At the time, people were selling studios for about 230,000, 240,000.
And how much you buy yours for?
I bought it for 200,000.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right.
So yeah.
So yeah, it did well. But the reason I signed for that property was very simple. Is that number one, I'm buying below market value. Number two, in the event the market does pull back, I have enough room. If I did sell at exactly the price I bought it for, I'm fine. But if the other guy who has it or who paid 240 for his or hers sell at the same price I paid for it, they lost $40,000.
Yes.
I have $40,000 room as protection. So what I suggest to people when you're buying pre-construction is, number one, make sure you're buying below market value.
Okay.
If you can't buy below market value, then make sure you're buying in a growing neighborhood.
Okay.
Right? So if I'm buying, let's say, where can I use as an example? Where's a growing neighborhood? Lawrence, let's say Lawrence and Dufferin. There's a growing neighborhood.
Okay.
If a townhouse project comes around this area right now, they're selling a townhouse right now for $850,000. I would buy it immediately.
Okay.
Right? Because I know that the houses in this neighborhood that are knockdowns are starting at 1.2, 1.3 million. So there's enough room for me. In the event that I need to liquidate, I know I can liquidate for that price point. So I know that I'm buying below market value.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, I want to make sure that the floor plan I'm buying is actually a good floor plan.
Yeah.
Like when you're buying pre-construction, you don't get to feel the kitchen. You don't get to feel the size of the bedroom. And a lot of people have a hard time visualizing a house on paper.
Yeah.
It's so weird to me. I can literally look at it and know everything.
Well, I mean, people like what they see, right? If you're able to see and know how it will look, it makes much sense, right? I mean, like you're saying, most people don't know how to read these blueprints, these floor plans, right? So it's kind of hard for them to.
They're easy though. They're not that hard. Trust me. The measurements are there. This is what I used to do when I first started buying pre-construction. I would literally bring a tape. No, I would literally bring a tape to the sales offices. And when I look at the floor plan, I will measure. Like I'll leave it there and measure and say, okay, this is what a room will look like. If I was to lie down on the floor, is there enough room for me? Then I'll go online, I'll check, okay, what's the size of the bed, right? Size bed, and I'll measure it. Okay, how much room do I still have between the edge of my bed and that wall? If my wall is hitting my bed, I'm not buying that floor plan. Right? So I think people just need to be a bit more active in the way they visualize these floor plans. So buying the right floor plan is also very key, because you can buy a property, you know, pre-construction, 2,000 square feet, and it could feel very spacious simply because it has 10-foot ceilings and simply because it's wide open. Okay. Right? But you buy another property that's 2,000 square feet and there's a bunch of walls, you know, it's an L-shaped kitchen that's very short, then it's not as appealing. Okay. And when it comes time to sell that property, you know, the eyes is what buys the properties a lot of times, and then the heart follows, right? Yeah. So you want to make sure it's appealing to the eyes before you can actually sell these properties to the right person. Right. So I think if people pay attention to those things, they'll do extremely well when it comes to pre-construction.
So, like if I were to recap, so pretty much the price that you're paying for it, right? Yeah. Buying the market value, then you're good. You're already making money there, and then also floor plan. Make sure that the floor plan also makes sense.
Exactly. You have to really pay attention to the floor plan. It's important, because I find a lot of people who buy a property, they're extremely happy. 4 years down the line, they get the keys to walk in. They're like, "What the did I just buy?" They're just upset because they couldn't visualize what it would look like. Okay. You know. So if people can pay a bit more attention, take a ruler, take a measuring tape, take what do you call those, the red beam ones, whatever you got to use. Use it to understand the measurements of your property. before you sign and before you commit to it. So when it's time for you to get the keys, you walk in 4, 5, 6 years down the line, you're very happy, you're smiling, and you're not miserable. I've seen those ones.
So what would be your advice for a first-time buyer? I mean, that is one of the things that, the government talks about. We always want to help the first-time buyers get into the market. Right now, the market is so heated, and prices going up. Let's say you have a client, who are willing to buy. Let's say they have some money saved up, they have a down payment and they want to buy, but it's their first time. And looking at how it's going, and like when you mentioned that maybe by November, December, you truly know what is the impact of COVID, right? Is what is happening now a norm, or is it more like it will fade away and then things will begin to get back to normalize a little bit? So if you have a first time buyer who has money saved, what would you do? Like, what would you advise them? Get in or wait it out and see what will happen?
I always say get in when you can, right? Because I like deals and I'm a deal finder.
Okay.
Right. And I don't like being on sidelines at all because I don't learn nothing on the sidelines.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So what I suggest to first time home buyers is if you have the money and if you've already seen your mortgage broker, you understand or you know what your pre-mortgage price is, then go hunting.
Okay.
It doesn't mean you're going to buy tomorrow. There are buyers who take a whole year before they actually buy a property.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes you 6 months before you sign. Sometimes it takes you a week. So you don't know when you're actually going to be able to find that right property. So while you're sitting on the sidelines and, playing with your thumbs, get out there, start looking at properties, go through the process, get on MLS, see what things are selling for in different neighborhoods. Get your real estate agent to email you different listings. So at least you can feed yourself some information, understand what's happening.
Okay.
Be active, start looking at properties, different type of properties that fit your criteria.
Okay.
And as you're going along, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to see, okay, fine, maybe I need an older property because it's more size. Maybe I need a newer property because I don't like old properties. Maybe I don't like condos because I don't like the maintenance fees. Whatever that is, you will only learn it once you actually go out there and actually start seeing things. You'd be surprised. We have clients where they will tell us, oh yeah, I need this and this is all I want. And then 6 months later, they buy something totally different. Totally different from what they said they would be buying. Right? So what I suggest for them is number one, go see a mortgage broker.
Okay.
Know what you can afford.
Okay.
Get on the road and start learning and start researching and start understanding. And if money's a problem or if price point is a problem, start looking into older condos. There's a perfect example. About 2 years ago, I had a client, Glenda, really, really smart girl, woman. What she did was she wanted to buy a condo at the time, but we couldn't find anything within her price point. So we went to Mississauga and we bought a older condo, 1+, and we converted it into a 2-bedroom. Okay. Right. So automatically she added value to that property. So it went from a 1-bedroom to a 2-bedroom. Right. And then she rented it out immediately. So remember, once again, she went from 1+ then rental to a 2-bedroom rental. Okay. So now she can get more for her property. Yeah. And then she rented it for 2 years to the same tenant, no problem. Oh. And then she just sold it during COVID, sold it very quickly. She took that money and bought another property to start her family. Okay. Right? So, she was restricted. However, she was on the road. She learned. We kept going until we found something that suited her. So for the first-time home buyers, don't sit on the sideline. You may not buy today. You may not even buy end of the year. You probably may not even buy next year. Who knows? But at least start looking. Looking. We have another client. It took her a year. She just literally bought one a month ago, last month. Oh, wow. Yeah, it took her about a year. Yeah, we got eaten a lot of multiple offers. Like 7 of them. No, always
now. It's not easy now looking for a property. So what about a move-up buyer? Like, let's say somebody, a young family who's outgrowing their place or like they need space, but they have something right now that they're in, and looking at the conditions and stuff like that. What would your advice be for a move-up buyer? You know, you tell them to wait it out, or
I'll tell them to the same thing I told the first time home buyer. Well, number one is this. I find that a lot of people in Canada, or a lot of people in general, once they're in their property, sometimes they get tired of it and they want to buy something else.
oh, yeah,
Right? And the first thing I always ask them, which sometimes I feel like I shouldn't, is why are you selling?
yeah,
Right? So I think if you don't need to sell a property just to get more space, then don't sell the property unless you truly need to sell the property. Right now, if you need to sell a property, if you want to sell a property, this is an amazing opportunity to sell a property for a good price. People are buying, need homes, and people are slowly starting to get back to the norm a bit, right? When it comes to real estate. So if you are looking to upgrade, looking to change properties, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. But ask yourself, do I need to buy another property? If I don't, then let me stay here for a bit and see what's happening. If you need to, if you see another opportunity where you can sell your property for more money and buy something for a good price, or something that you can hold on to for 10 years or longer, 5 years to 10 years, then yeah, go ahead. There's no reason why you shouldn't do so.
Okay. Now, someone asked, what are some of the key features of a home that helps when it comes to resale?
Oh, well, it's the same thing, man. Kitchen and bathroom.
Okay.
Right. Kitchen and bathroom are number one when it comes to homes, because that's where most people tend to look for, or most people tend to desire. You know, if you have a nice kitchen, trust me, you're okay. If you have a beautiful bedroom, especially master bedrooms,
yeah,
you're okay. What I'm finding now when it comes to these listings is clean lines. So you know, remember back in the days when you go to like your auntie's house, it would just be clogged with like furniture.
Yeah, the big
the big furniture. There'd be lights everywhere. It just wouldn't make sense sometimes. Yeah, people don't like that anymore. Actually, you know what? Give me a second. Let me turn up the AC in this.
Oh,
a second. Oh, sorry. I have to turn up the AC in here. Yeah, people don't like that stuff anymore. What I'm finding is modern is in. People like open space. They like clean lines. They like, you know, white, gray accent walls, nice kitchens, you know, they not clogged up. So when it comes to listing a property, what I suggest to most people and their agents is, you know, when people come to the place, let them feel like they can breathe. You know,
yeah.
You know, it helps. You'd be surprised. It really helps. You know, when you go to a listing and the kitchen there's like pots everywhere, you know, the place is clogged up, bed is not done, you know, washrooms ain't clean, things like that. It's not appealing. Like, there's a test I do with clients sometimes when they actually say that I found the property or this is the one I want to buy. Once we get comfortable inside the property, I tell them go outside, leave, walk around the neighborhood a little bit and come back inside and act like you're coming home from work.
Okay.
You feel good. This is the one.
This is the one.
Right? Okay. And trust me, if I walk into your house or your listing and it doesn't feel good because it's clogged up, I'm not buying it. And most people feel the same.
Yeah.
So I think number one is cleanup. Number two is if you can make sure that the kitchen is not upgraded, but it's nice. Washroom is nice. Place smells good. It's not clogged up. Cut the grass. You know, make it appealing. It will get more traction. Also, try not to be in the property when the people are there. Yeah, you know, sometimes you go look at a property and the whole family's in the living room.
That's not comfortable.
No, it's not. You know, you want to talk to your agent. You want to tell them how you really feel. You know, I like this, I don't like this. But at the same time, you're slightly cautious because you don't want to insult the people. You don't want to hear what you're saying. You don't want to really express yourself. But you look over there and there's the grandma. So I suggest try not to be in the property. Your agent will send you a schedule of your showings. Go for a walk. Go talk to your neighbor. Go shopping. Go do something. Don't be in the property. Leave the people room to breathe, to see, to envision themselves in your house. For the agent to really be honest with them as well. So so that way they can feel the freedom to make a decision.
Okay. All right. Somebody asked that if you like to share the importance of structuring when it comes to terms for pre-construction.
Oh, yes. Structuring what, the payments or structuring?
Yeah, let's say pay. Yeah, I think that's what a person.
Oh, you see, when it comes to pre-construction, a lot of people tend to go with what the builder's telling them.
Okay.
They forget that there's still room for possible negotiation.
Okay.
Right. So if you go to a builder and they say, hey, we want 4 payments, 20% on these exact dates, that's cool. That's what they propose. You still have the freedom to actually ask them, can we do these other dates instead? And if the builder has room, if they're smart, if they don't have as much demand, they will likely agree with you. Sometimes the builder will need 20% deposit, but you negotiate and say, hey, can we do 10% my first year and then 10% on closing or on occupancy? They may agree with that. So people need to always remember when you walk into pre-construction projects that you can talk, you can ask questions, you can demand certain things. Even though the unit itself, you can demand certain things, such as if you have a big den, you can ask them to put a slider there. So that way, when it's time for you to rent, you can actually mark it as a 2-bedroom. Yeah, exactly. You can have a conversation about what it is that you're buying. So people shouldn't be nervous or just take what the builders give them when it comes to pre-construction.
Okay. And in terms of pricing as well?
Well, pricing is very hard. What we used to do, we still do, depending on the project, is we used to buy in bulk.
Okay.
So we will go as a team and we say, okay, fine. As a team, we have 50 clients who are looking to buy. We want 50 units. Because we're getting 50 units, you don't have to sell all of them individually. So let's get a bit of a discount. And then we will get those. And then we'll pass those discounts on to our clients. All right. So when it comes to price, most builders don't change price, especially when there's demand for their product. But if you're working with a firm or brokerage firm or real estate firm that tend to do more deals or bulk deals with a specific builder, you may get yourself some discounts, or they may pass the discounts over to you.
Okay. All right. And somebody also asked, they joined not long ago, and they were asking about, I know we already talked about the condo market. They wanted to know about the condo market. I know we talked about it already, but
whoever it is, the market is good. People are still selling. It's the same thing as before. Just market it properly. Make sure your pictures are done very, very well. Do a 3D tour if you can. Not if you can, just do it because it will help. People are looking at properties online before they go see the properties, and especially now, they want to be sure before they go see the property because of COVID as well. All right, so spend some money and some time marketing your property as much as possible. If you got to clean it up, paint job, maybe get some little accent things on your dining table, things like that. It will help with the pictures.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and then I'm also hearing that, like for when it comes to the market for detached homes, like it's going up. People are saying, well, the reason being that people now being working from home, they realize that now that they need more space, right? If you're gonna be stuck up at home, at least you need some space as well, right?
Yeah, that's happening. It's funny. We went to a cottage with a couple of friends 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And there was about 10 of us, and nobody took time off work.
Oh, wow. Right?
Yeah, nobody took time off work, and we're there for a whole week. And everybody worked. Everybody got up. They had breakfast and they worked until noon. It was around 2 o'clock, and we were gone. We were out of the city about 2 hours away. We were in Ontario, about 2 hours away.
Okay. So
with COVID, now people can work from home and people can work from almost anywhere now, depending on the type of job you do have. So people are finding a new feel or new energy towards homes.
Okay.
Like if I don't need to be downtown, if I don't need to be in the city and stuck in a little box, then why not spend the same money to be outside where I can work from my home? I can actually get a real office. I can have a backyard and my kids can be free.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that COVID has changed that a bit for people. Not all people,
Yeah.
Because there's still a demand for the condo market. I love condos. I don't like
Your
I don't shovel snow. I don't want to shovel snow, bro. I'm not built for that lifestyle. I don't want to cut grass. I don't do none of that stuff yet. So people like me, we still love the condo market. Young professionals still love being downtown, being able to walk to a restaurant, be able to ride their bikes to things. So the market is there for both people. But yes, since COVID, there is a huge now demand for homes because of.
Okay. All right. Now, before we wrap it up, we're going to wrap it up soon. Why don't you talk about yourself? Like, what's going on with Jude now? What is Jude doing now? What can we look forward to?
Most people who follow me know that for the last 3 years, I've been traveling a lot.
Okay.
And mainly to Africa. So I've done a lot of countries over there just to understand what's happening. And I think something's happening.
Okay.
So, I've been to Zimbabwe, I've been to Kenya, I did Cape Town, did South Africa, did a few places just to understand where the shift is, because there's a generational change happening right now.
Okay.
We are the new adults, right? Okay. And we are now, our minds are a bit more open. We just don't see Canada as home, and people are migrating a bit more.
Okay.
Right? I have a lot of friends from university who went back to Ghana to live in Ghana.
Okay.
When I go there, a lot of them are doing well. Okay. So what I decided to do was also branch myself to Ghana and towards Africa a bit more as I build my team over here as well.
Okay.
Because I think there's a lot of opportunity that's going to happen over there within the next decade or so.
Okay.
So I'm building a team over there, doing a lot of land acquisition, doing some custom homes. I'm building a hotel in Adenta as well in Ghana as well. So I'm taking that side of my business a bit more, not serious, but pushing towards that side a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah. And at the same time, we're still buying properties over here. Whenever there's an opportunity, we do buy. Making sure investors are happy. Clients who bought before, who are sitting on the sideline, reminded them to always keep an eye out. And the same as usual, spending a lot of time educating people as much as possible.
Okay. Okay. All right. Very good. Now, so what is your prediction now? I mean, we have about 10 minutes left. We're going to bring it to an end soon. I mean, you mentioned that by November, December, we have an idea, how this thing plays out.
I gotta tell you something. I'm not Miss Cleo. So I try my best not to predict. I do that for a reason, because I want tangible numbers. Okay. Like, the number always tell me where to go. It really does. Yeah. Right. And I'm not going to go ahead and say market's crashing, so run, because people said that in 2012 and they said that in 2016. Yeah. Right. And that didn't happen. Right. I bought 3 properties actually in 2016 just because of that. Right. So I'm not telling people which direction it's going to go. What I'm saying is keep your eyes to the streets, keep your eyes to the numbers. If you're a cautious investor, wait until all these mortgage deferrals are complete so you can understand where we're going next. If you're a hunter, meaning if you're a more of an aggressive investor, then look now, because there's somebody out there who actually did get hit by COVID financially. That's the truth. Let's not lie. Somebody out there lost a lot of money in their stock portfolio. The stock market went down about 60-70%. Rebounded about 20 to 30%. So there's somebody out there who lost about 40% of their portfolio. Yeah. So if that's $1 million, somebody lost $400,000. Right? So they're ready to sell. They need money. Right? So find that guy. There are people who bought more properties than they should, and now it's time to close, and now the banks are a bit more stringent with their mortgage rules, and they may not be able to get a mortgage. Yeah. So go find that guy. All right. So for the aggressive investors, don't sleep. This is the time for you to be more aggressive. I think even assignments, there's going to be opportunities in assignments as well, because most people who bought pre-construction may have bought more than 1 or 2. They may own a property, and now it's time for them to close this property that's coming. They may not be able to because of mortgage rule.
Yeah.
Right. So find those people, find assignment deals, and negotiate.
Okay.
For somebody who just want a home for themselves,
Mm-hmm.
it's very simple. Can I afford this house?
Okay.
Am I happy in this property?
Okay.
Do I like this neighborhood? Can I stay here for a long time?
Okay.
Buy the property.
Okay.
Right? Because the market can change in 5 years and in 10 years.
Yeah.
And what's going to say that didn't predict the market? Jeez, that's a long, that's a long prediction.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Yeah. So if you're somebody looking for something for yourself, for your family, you know, somewhere you can call home, you're not really looking for an investment property, you don't want to make any adjustment for yourself, then find something that makes you happy. If you're a first-time home buyer, like we said, start now. Start looking, start asking questions, start, you know, getting on the streets, start looking at properties, start looking as many as you can so you can find out what suits you. So I don't think it's a prediction to be had. I think there is numbers and there's changes happening, and you just adjust to you and what you're trying to do. Yeah,
definitely. And I like that, you know, because those people who made predictions, you know, that is
all of them failed. All these predictions they had, I don't know. You know, market is gonna crash. Toronto's not as big as New York. Blah blah blah. Look where we are now. Imagine you got nervous and you liquidated all your properties.
Oh. And like what you said, and I like that because this hasn't happened before. Nobody knows what's going to happen.
No, nobody knows. So how can I give you a prediction when I don't know what's going to happen? And it never happened. I never experienced this before.
Right? Yeah, that's exactly what I was telling some friends when all this thing started. That you know, they were reading all this and following all these predictions. Or this is going to happen. I said, look, this hasn't happened before. Nobody knows to the extent that the government is going to go pocket, and that's exactly what has happened, right? So the best thing is, you know, like what you said, depend on your need and your situation, you know, continue to monitor what and decide by case by case, right? Because everybody's situation is different, right?
Very different, very right. Like this is the first year in a long time I haven't bought real estate, right, in Canada or in the GTA in general, and it's because of, once again, because of COVID. I don't know the extent. I've been looking continuously. I'm on MLS like every day, just looking. It's like my YouTube, and you know, I can tell people where to look if they want to look for investment properties. I think east of downtown Toronto is worth looking into.
East
of downtown Toronto. I've been looking at that area for a while. I own there, and it's kind of dirty. You know, I don't want to use the wrong term here. I don't want to offend anybody, but it's not as beautiful as the west side of downtown. Right. But when you walk around, I like to walk a lot so I can see things. So when you walk around, you see a lot of pre-construction properties or condos coming up. So over time, what will happen, what I'm seeing happen is that all the older properties, all the parking lots, all these things will slowly get washed out. And that's exactly what happened in the West End. Like we started buying Liberty Village 12 years ago, or even longer, and it wasn't Liberty Village back then. Not even close. So I think that east of downtown Toronto is there's something happening there, and if you keep an eye out there, and if you look for, you know, a functional 2-bedroom, good price, you can hold on to that. I'm sure you do well in the long term, as long as the market doesn't crash, or even pockets like Dufferin and Lawrence. If you come from Dufferin and Lawrence, which is where I am, what you'll find is that there is literally a pre-construction project coming at almost every intersection up off on Dufferin. Right? But what that tells you is that in Yorkdale, you know, it's already what's happening with Yorkdale. Yorkdale is it's like its own Forest Hill of a mall.
That's fine.
It's crazy. So what's happening in the area is there's a lot happening in this neighborhood. A lot of developments happening. Yorkdale has like a 20-year plus project in order to change the whole entire thing. All the car dealerships you see on Dufferin, I think in the future they're all going to go and turn to condos or commercial properties. Just drive down Dufferin. Just stop at every intersection and look. You start seeing that there's something happening here. Even where else can you look? Even Streetsville, Mississauga. I think there's project coming over there. I think there's potential over there.
What about Vaughan?
I love Vaughan. I love Vaughn. Everybody who knows me knows I love Vaughn. I didn't buy there. I ended up buying Oakville instead. I'm happy with what I did, but I'm a huge fan of Vaughn because Vaughn is one of those cities, or you want to call it, where it's slowly turning or starting to have like a Mississauga feel.
Yeah.
You know, so if you look at Mississauga, back in the day, Mississauga was a suburb, right?
Yeah.
Now, the development square one, transportation, you can almost do everything in Mississauga as you can in Toronto.
Yeah.
Right? I know people live in Saga and they're very happy. They can go shopping, they go to restaurants, everything is there. And I think, or I feel that Vaughan is slowly transitioning from a suburb to more of a metropolis.
Okay.
And if you look at exactly where Colossus is,
yeah,
you look at that pocket, there's a lot of projects coming there. And Vaughan is slowly extending as well. So I like Vaughan. Just don't overpay, because sometimes I remember this is like 2 years ago, the prices of detaches in Vaughan are getting a little ridiculous.
In particular.
Yeah, they were getting up there. But just don't overpay, man. Just don't overpay. But no, I'm a huge fan of Vaughan. Like, there's certain cities that has a tag, and I call them high-end suburbs.
Okay.
Right? So if you look at Vaughan, Kleinburg, Oakville, King City, these are like high-end suburbs.
Okay.
Right? Even Burlington now. Burlington now got a bit of a Burlington now got a bit of a tag to it now too. Pockets of Mississauga, not the whole Mississauga. Pockets of Mississauga has that tag as well. So these locations tend to have a bit more called prestige to them. And they're not losing them.
Okay.
They haven't had them yet. So I think Vaughan is still good. Oakville is still good. Just don't overpay.
Okay.
The best product that I found, or for me, especially for, small families who still want to live in Vaughan, Oakville, these type of neighborhoods, is luxury townhouses.
And now, right?
Yeah, I think they should look. Don't ignore luxury townhouses. A lot of people don't like them because they're not houses. It's like, once you have a house, you have a house, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people kind of ignore them, or they don't want to go into them because it's a townhouse. Yeah. But a lot of these townhouses, they have sometimes they have the same amount of rooms as a detached. Right. The property taxes is cheaper, and the price is also cheaper. And you're in the same neighborhood as the expensive house. Okay. So why not look at that? Yeah. So down payment would somebody need, let's say if you're buying a property like a condo, like let's say in Vaughan, like how much down payment? I'm assuming 20%. Like if you're buying. It depends on their financing though. Yeah. Most financing, you're looking between 10% all the way to 20% to sometimes 35%. Okay. Depending on your circumstance. If you own multiple properties, your lender is going to ask you for a bigger deposit, just as a precaution. If you're a first-time home buyer, they may ask you for 10% because 5% is pretty much a wash after your expenses, and banks want to be cautious right now. So I think you should prepare for 10 to 20. If you are an investor, prepare yourself for even 35. Okay, so our time is up. Before we leave, why don't you? How can someone read Jude? Like, someone want to work with you. Someone needs your help. How can they reach you? They can call me. Just Google my name. My name comes up. There's not a lot of Jude Ghanaians out there, so you will see me. Okay. Just Google my name. My number come up. My social media comes up. I haven't been as active on social media for this year because we've been spending more of our time on structuring and branching out to Ghana and more on the joint venture side as well. But yeah, just Instagram, social media, Google. I'm around. Okay, good. Thank you, Jude. Thank you for your